Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with Mr. Tate Mathews as always. Tate, welcome back. It's time for 23-24 and another year of Sports Connection.
Hey, this is a great week. It's 2023. We're back. Contracts got renewed, rolled over. It's the first week of high school football in the TWSAA sports seasons. It's Elvis week. I mean, two of the best things going. We've got volleyball hitting full tilt, golf, women's soccer. It's great.
Tate, now usually I don't do this to start a show, but I'm going to start us off with the Joins Gym.
Joins Gym right off the bat.
Since June 17th of 2008, Sports Connection has been a reality. We are starting year 16, and the very first Sports Connection, it was a solo effort. Ralph Ringstaff opened us up June 17th, 2008. We are the longest running show on WCTV. And Tate Mathews, you are the most hosted host.
I've seen two tenures.
You're the hostess with the mostest in terms of times on here.
Well, that's a heck of a compliment.
It really is.
Are we the Simpsons of WCTV? And if so, does that make me Homer?
maybe the clown.
Krusty. Hey, but I tell you, we've come a long way. Go back and find that clip. Coach Ringstaff was up. I think that was probably the third floor. I think that's where it was back then. And let's just say that the technology and the facility that we're in now is a little bit nicer than it was.
Now we've got to give Coach Ringstaff credit for getting this thing started.
No doubt.
But to have to do that solo, I think if you go back and watch, you see the benefits of having a partner.
Well,
would you agree?
100%. It just makes it easier. And then after that, we went to Coach Daniels.
Coach Daniels.
And his first episode was very similar to Coach Ringstaff's first episode. And then you bring in this guy named Jeremy Qualls. And I think we've talked about it. Newt used to be, I don't know, what would we call him, Creed? The executive producer. Newt was a little more conservative. Jeremy comes in, bouncing off the walls. I thought Newt was going to have a heart attack.
Well, he does that.
It almost ended then.
He has a way of doing that to people.
And we're sitting there. You've heard him tell it. Sometime we got to get him on here. And he's sitting there. And Newt, this first time Newt's ever met him. I mean, Jeremy's, it's 100 miles an hour. And we get done. And he goes, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this thing on the road. We're going to do a game day again. I think he might have had at least a panic attack.
And Newt said, we aren't.
Oh, my gosh. Correct. And then Jeremy said, okay, well, I'll figure it out.
And he did figure it out. Tate, let's just jump right in. Top stories. We had our Football Media Day annual on July 31st at Mojo's Tacos in Franklin. Want to thank Lance West for being there and the folks here at WCTV for live streaming that particular event. It's kind of that's a Sports Connection version, not obviously here in studio, but that's really where we got it started. Some changes we need to talk about, some classification changes in football. Now Region 6, 6A, not 7, 6A. Still got Brentwood, Franklin, Indy, Ravenwood, Summit. Centennial's out. You move in John Overton as number 6. In 5A, Centennial drops down to 5A. Centennial, Nolensville, Page, Glencliff, Hillsboro, and a guy named James Lawson who's competing in Region 6. 5A, Fairview, still in the same league, but only 5 teams in that particular region now, Region 6, 3A. Now listen, I think top to bottom, now you can't even argue this. 6, 6A, 6, 5A, the two strongest statewide. Agreed?
100%. No debate. I don't think you'll even get any resistance on that from people from other counties. They know it. These are the two toughest in 6A and 5A. Now, you come out of that, and the other problem is they all have the same issues. That getting non-region games is so tough. So,
Well, I would tell the 5As, well, you can solve yours. Play the 6As.
They're right there.
They'll all play. And then that would obviously help our 6A, which has been done if you look at the schedules. By the way, we'll talk about how the classifications have changed for our other fall sports next week. This one's going to be about football. Lots of exciting things going on in our other fall sports too,
Yes.
which we'll get right into.
I think, again, a little teaser. We took a dip. That's how good volleyball is here. We took a dip in volleyball last year, but I think we're back.
Well, we're going to talk about a little bit of a dip in 6A football. I mean, when you go back and look at last year, so let's jump into that. If you look from last year, 7 of 9 teams make the playoffs. That's every year, right? That's what we can have. That's who makes it. This year, obviously, it could be 8 of 9, with 5 in one league, 3 in the other, 1 in 3A. So we'll have 8 of the 9 make it. Page runner-up in 5A for the second consecutive year. But here's some things that tell me it was a little off. And then we gotta speak the truth here. Okay? We call out the other play. We just gotta talk about the truth. 6A, down year in postseason. The furthest any of our teams made it, second round. That never happens.
Never.
The other thing that never happens, no semifinalist or finalist for Mr. Football. I think we could have made a case for several people, in particular. You go back and look at Layden Grant. I thought for sure he'd be a semifinalist there for Fairview, but that rarely happens. And then no one's had a couple of guys that I thought had a shot. Obviously, if Parson plays the whole season, he'll be in there, but
Yep.
if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. So,
That's a good one.
and so we're here in the fall. It's not Christmas time, but we've got to. But I think we're going to turn it around this year. I've got faith in that. Also, want to mention coaching change there with Coach Jamal Stewart coming over from East Nashville, replacing Matt Kreisky at Centennial High School. To me, this one's got a little bit more of a vibe. If you're talking about our year of having a typical Wilco post. In 5A, we did. Nolensville Page, whoever won that quarterfinal was going to make it.
Yeah.
Page wins it, they make it to the end.
Yes. They were both instant clack.
Now, I've said a lot. Jump right in there, Tate.
No, I think you're all of us right. I mean, it is what it is, but that's just that's the level of, especially in 6A football. That's 5A too, and football being played in Williams County. So yeah, it was a down year. Well, like you said, it is what it is. So reject passivity, right? That's what the coaches.
Ignite greatness.
That's what the coaches preach to the young boys, and it is a lesson they need to learn. So yes, I'm really excited about this year. That was a weird matchup in 6A with the Memphis teams, and we need to go back and do the research on that. But you're right. I'm talking a decade or more that we haven't had somebody go past the second round. Maybe 2 decades. So, yeah, I was down, but I feel really good about a lot of these teams going into the 2023 season. If you're sleeping on Page, I think you're making a really big mistake. I think they're loaded. And then, yeah, I think everybody's excited about what the coach Jamal Stewart Centennial Cougars are going to look like, because it will be different.
And I don't want to give it away, but the way they're going to look Friday night's going to be.
It's all out. They're going all out. Game day is going to be there. The battle. Well, and you were talking about these 5As. They can solve that scheduling by playing some of the 6As. Well, that's the very first game since I think that game had to happen, whether the coaches wanted it to or not. I don't think they didn't, but Centennial playing 6A Franklin, the Battle of Franklin, the first game of his coaching career in Williamson County. At Centennial, they get no bigger than that. Game day is going to be there. The student bodies, Coach Webb got so amped up he broke the game day desk one year, and that wasn't an act. That wasn't a work. That was a shoot. Remember?
Yes.
It was great, wasn't it? Pounded that table.
So, and here's what I like about it. Last year, I'm at the baseball sectional Centennial's hosting Green Hill. And the Centennial folks, I'm out there talking to Coach Moore, the AD and basketball coach, Coach Stewart, new football coach, Coach Glass is out there, Dr. Dyson's out there, and they're mentioning, we open up with game day here. Yes, we are.
Yeah, they're going to turn it out. It's going to be good.
It's going to be really good. It is.
Coach Dr. Dyson will have his, isn't that called a Kango, that hat? I think it's,
Yes.
or the Derby hat.
That's the brand.
Yeah. I love that hat. I like it when he wears it. I hope he has that
Who
on.
made that hat famous?
He's a golfer.
The Kango? I'm talking about the Kango.
Oh, LL Cool J. Of course. Come on, man.
But he wore a different style.
That's right.
You're thinking Payne Stewart, the golfer.
Yes. Dr. D wears it facing forward.
And it's
sweet.
It looks
It's a good
good.
look.
He's got great style.
Yes, he does.
All right, let's do this. Let's handle it this way, Tate. We're going to start with our 6A teams.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just go through here. Again, that's Overton's in the league with our teams. Brentwood, Franklin, Indy, Ravenwood, Summit. We'll just start with Brentwood, who, Tate, you have gone out publicly and said, and because you're now dead to Mimi,
I've been cut out of the Hester will.
you've been cut out. I don't know if you were in it, but you're definitely not in it now because
Mimi, you are now Mimi's favorite on this show.
Thank you. When we do the picks later, although we'll probably
Sit tight.
We'll probably pick similarly. I've said I think Ravenwood wins the region. Mimi, Miss Hester, you have gone out and said Brentwood's going to win it. So that's how we're saying 1-2, according to what we said in our media day preview. But then it gets a little different. Franklin, we think Overton's last, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Overton's 6.
We know Overton's last. And I'm a big fan of Coach Broom, but yes, they're last.
They last.
Thanks for playing.
Franklin, Indy, Summit. Now, I'm not going to let this slide because I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but you really made a pretty bold prediction. You said, I feel like Franklin's third in the region.
I still feel that way.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Why do I feel that way?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Well, I think Brentwood's going to be number one.
You like the new quarterback.
Like the new quarterback. I feel like it feels like Brentwood goes like on these 2-year cycles where they have a really big senior class. This is one of them. They got a lot of good players in this class that have played a lot of snaps. And we got us a new quarterback. He can spin it. He's been here longer to be able to learn the system. You know, Brentwood has smart kids, and they have a pretty complicated system sometimes. They got a nice running back by committee. I like their lines. I feel like they're the most complete team in the region. Franklin, as you know, we've been talking about it. They've had guys that are these juniors. Some of them started as a freshman. A lot of them played a lot of snaps as a freshman. They've played a lot of snaps as freshmen, sophomores. Yes, they've taken their lumps, but they're getting better, and now they're juniors. And I just feel like this is the year they got a lot of pieces put together. They got a quarterback that I think you can build around. He's a leader. I think they'll follow him in Brewer Wilson. Yep, we got Coach, new offensive coordinator, who I think is going to bring. I think it's going to be a nice look on offense. So, yeah, I feel like they're third place.
Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins.
You know something else?
The Kerry Collins.
The one. You know something else I like? And believe me, he's very capable of this. Coach Melton has been he's been the coordinator basically. His 2 years as head coach. It's Coach Webb this year. Donnie Webb, longtime head coach, Dr. Defense. I think that's smart on Coach Melton's part. Not because he's a great defensive coordinator too. He's the head coach. He said, hey, look, there's probably been times where I'm worried about talking to the defense and maybe clock management or some other things I need to be doing. Maybe threw my focus off a little bit. I think it's a good move.
I think it's a great move.
I really do. Not only because Coach Webb is capable, but I think that's the Coach Melton growing into that head coaching job because unlike basketball or some of the other sports, you can't talk to them all. You just can't do it. There's too many people out there. You got to talk to the different units. So as you and I have talked about a lot on this show, there's a head coach, but then there's the head coach of the offense and the head coach of the defense. There's really 3 head coaches in football. And you can say that about special teams too, but for sure you can say OD and then the ultimate head coach.
That's right.
Agreed?
100%. I mean, there is a game management aspect to being the head coach. And if I'm making corrections on the sideline when the defense comes off, I am not watching the game. It's not possible.
Right, at least for that short period of time.
That's right.
Or I'm not going over and talking to the defense like I would be doing if I'm staying over there with them the entire time. So.
And hey, there's some places that's a blessing of being here in Wilco, right? There's some places where you simply can't, you can't go get 2 coordinators to come work at your place that you trust to do that. So obviously you don't turn it over to just anybody.
Right.
But when you got a guy like Donnie Webb sitting there, yes, I think it's a great move. I think it'll free Coach Melton up. And let's be honest, when it comes to defensive coordinators, you go all the way back and you ask people who's one of the coaches you don't like to see, and that's Coach Webb game planning.
So, Tate, those are some convincing arguments, especially when you're talking about the size of Brentwood's senior class. And if I'm not mistaken now, Ravenwood's got 20-ish or less seniors on their roster. Sophomore class is really good for Ravenwood. Freshman class, really good for Ravenwood. Of course, those guys aren't going to help you on the varsity team. If they do, you're probably in trouble. In
or
6A.
They're very special, which probably you're in trouble.
Right.
But you could. I mean, there's been a few that have come
but
through.
Not a bunch of them.
Right.
But I'll say this. Of all the guys that attended Media Day, when I say I'm looking at those 2 that they brought and think, man, those are ballers, the Page guys, Ronan, and really could bring anybody else.
Right.
Of course, Eric Hazard didn't come either. He's awesome. And Ains and some other guys.
Yes.
But Carter Pace, a healthy Carter Pace, Jacob Thompson wearing number 0 for Ravenwood.
Isn't that great?
It's really cool. I'm going with Ravenwood 1. Now, Brentwood's 2, though, in my mind. But, again, you made a convincing argument, but I'm still going Ravenwood.
Well, and Ravenwood's early schedule is, I mean, just a cakewalk. Like a lot of snoozers there. Oh my gosh, they'd been better off being in the SEC West. But no, they're going to be fine. Hey, Coach Hester will tell you, Carter's back. When Carter's healthy, he said he's as good as any running back in the not the mid-state, the state of Tennessee. He feels that confident in him. And I agree. I mean, he's a heck of a player. So he is a guy who can he might be the best player in the region. But I'll tell you this. I'm sure there's some we got to get healthier. But in the scrimmage the other night, we started 6 sophomores on defense. That's tough.
It's tough. But Coach Hester,
yeah. But I promise you, he's not backing down, and I think he likes this. He wants Brentwood to be picked number 1. They kind of want that underdog role. Got 3 quarterbacks that are all kind of do things a little bit differently. So I don't think that thing's going to be, and it might not all year long, but especially early on, expect to see a couple of different tailback quarterbacks. Maybe expect to see 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. Maybe one of them at a different position. The old, we're going to get our best 11 on the field. I think you could see some of that pretty early on.
So if you talk about the other 3 teams, I think we obviously agree on this. It's Brentwood-Ravenwood or Ravenwood-Brentwood. Then you got Franklin, Indy, Summit fighting for the 3rd and 4th playoff spots, where you've said Franklin. I'm going Indy for that 3rd spot. I like Katina, who's been a great player for them. Coach Stidham in year 2. There tends to be a jump in year 2 with the coach, not because he didn't know what he's doing in year 1. It's a getting to know him and getting to know them kind of thing. And I think you're going to see some of that misdirection on offense. Like you're also going to see, how about that Indy Summit game?
It's going to be great.
It's going to be over in about hour and 30 minutes, counting halftime.
Keep your head on a swivel or you're going to lose the ball.
Roger Holmes, big wing T guys, when I was at Beach, I used to watch those games from up top. I was the PA guy for the Buccaneers for many years.
You were very good at it.
It's so fun to watch because you don't really know what's going on. It's
the wing team.
These kinds of offenses, I think they're great equalizers. Agreed?
Oh, of course. That's why you do it.
Look at the military academies, what they've done for years.
I mean, that's why you do it. And the other thing is the biggest advantage, I think, now is you don't see it as much. You used to, you had 10 games and you might see the wing T 7 or 8 of them. Now, you know, Summit is the only one running the wing T on most of these guys' schedules. I don't know who all their non-districts are, but you know what I'm saying? It's hard to get ready for that in 3 days. It just is because it's such assignment football, such on the defensive side, right? And so then, I don't know for sure, but I have a sneaky suspicion that the triple option is being worked on in the shadows down in Thompson Station. I've never personally seen it, but I've been told by people that I really respect. Coach Stidham knows that triple option as well. He knows it inside and out.
By the way, I noticed that you had the captain's hat out a little early today. You must be anticipating.
For the newbies, the captain hat and sunglasses is a symbol for a boat race. Now remember, boat race used to be 35 points running clock. Okay, so we might need to have this discussion. They changed the running clock to 30 last year, which I think was a big mistake. I don't like it at all. So think about how many games where the clock's still running in the second half when it's 32 points, 33 points, or whatever. But now when it gets to that 30, it's automatic running. So is a boat race on Sports Connection now 30 points or 35?
I'll be honest. I'm going to defer to the captain.
Okay, I think 35.
Oh, we're going to keep it 35?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Hey,
it's going to be Boat Race City for a lot.
It's your ship.
Thank you. I love it. It's going to be awesome. Hey, but so where are we going now?
Well, I want to mention Summit.
Yeah, okay.
Don't leave Summit out.
Yeah.
One thing I would say, they can miss direction and triple option and wing T or whatever they're doing. Hey, defenses, you might want to keep up with Dominic Hollis. He's probably going to end up with it a lot out there at Summit. And I'll say this, Coach Coleman, I can tell by talking to him, kind of gotten over last year. He had some younger guys playing. Now they're back. He's got some guys with a little bit more experience. I wouldn't be surprised 3, 4, 5 any way that it goes because it's going to be a play here or there. Yeah. I think we agree with that.
Yes.
I'm going Indy. I'm going Summit to be playoff teams.
So you're going Ravenwood, Brentwood, Indy, Summit. Got it. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Franklin third.
I saw Summit.
I think it's that close.
I saw Summit in a scrimmage. They're better this year. One, Dom's he's special, man. He's a guy that if he gets in space, he's gone.
He's
a breakaway threat. Coach Coleman, this was the thing that jumped out to me. Coach Coleman said this offensive line, he did not say they're as physical as that offensive line from 3 years ago.
Because it wouldn't have been true.
It wouldn't have been true. But he said this one is similar to that. He sees them heading that way. So that's good because that line was really, really good. So you can tell they're a year stronger. They look bigger. They're older. They lost everybody, right? So I'm telling you, what I saw, they look good. They're going to be a tough out.
Let's talk 5A. I'm really excited to talk about this. So you've got Centennial, 8-3 in 6A last year, and a lot of those folks are back, including Tanner Lee and Dominic Reed. Pretty good 1-2 punch there from those two guys. Nolensville lost the most. I do like their QB and Ty Collins. He's looked good.
Yep.
At times. When he looked the workout, he looked real good, I thought.
Yeah, he's looked good in 7-on-7 still.
Spinning it out there. And then Page, obviously you've got O'Connell and then Jonathan Palmer, who did great at Media Day. Their new QB, Eric Hazard, who's getting a lot of pub for next level kinds of things as a junior. You got Ains coming back. I mean, they've got a lot of folks that are back.
You have a minimum of 3 Power 5 guys.
Minimum. So
maybe 3 SEC guys.
Do we agree Hillsboro's top 4 too, right? That's the top 4.
Yes.
Okay, so we're saying they're the 4.
Hillsborough, not Hillwood, right?
Hillsborough. I didn't say Hillwood, did I?
I know.
Okay. You mean John Lawson? Okay, so I'm going to say, just because they're not us, of those four, you got Hillsborough fourth. I'm saying Page, Centennial, Nolensville, Hillsborough. Is that close to what you're doing?
Yes.
Page, Centennial, Nolensville, Hillsborough.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Nolensville.
So there's nothing to talk about.
Well, there is and there isn't. I mean, how far can these guys go in the first round? If I'm Tanner Lee or Dominic Reed at Centennial, I'm super excited because if you kept up with East Nashville when Coach Stewart was there, everybody knows that they were wide open, pedal to the metal, high scoring, tons of offense, fun to watch. But the other thing, and I think when you're at a place like East Nashville and 3A, things like that, I think you have to do this. So I think he did an unbelievable job of it. But DP was like this. Like, a lot of coaches, they have their traditional, this is our offense, these are our positions. Coach Stewart does a great job of, I'm going to find a way to get the football in my playmaker's hands. If that means he's a receiver, a running back, a quarterback, I am willing to move him around to find ways to get him the ball. And I would think that Tanner Lee and Dominic Reed would be those kind of guys. I think they're going to have huge years.
I love the thought of that because even when you're a little kid and you're out playing sports in the backyard, who gets it? The dudes.
That's right. Our guy's better than their guy.
I mean, hey, let's get it to him somehow.
But I think Nolensville's always so sound. They're younger. They lost. I mean, golly, they lost 3 Power 5 guys, right?
They did.
Yeah. So, but I'm just telling you, you don't just line up and run over Nolensville.
Well, they're going to play good defense.
They're going to play good defense. They're going to be sound on offense. They got a good quarterback. So I think Page is up here, and I'm picking Centennial, but I think the rest of them are. Don't be surprised if Nolensville does it.
And I'm going to say this: I think Page, for the 3rd straight year, plays for a title.
I do too. Man, I hope they get it. They could. I mean, that was they've run into a couple of buzzsaws.
They did.
But yeah, and you're talking about, hey, you mentioned O'Connell, and you mentioned Palmer at quarterback, and you mentioned Ains and Hazard. Let me tell you something, man. Coach Rathbone, and he's not talking just to talk. You get him on Weebush, he loves that. He loves
Weebush.
His son, Jake Rathbone. I mean, he's he's a physical offensive lineman. They just have players.
They do, and they're going to have a new look out there, and also with Ravenwood, those new score vision boards are going to look great.
That's game changing, really.
Look forward to seeing those too. Hey, Fairview, last team we hadn't talked about, one of the youngest teams that Coach Hughes has had, and sometimes they're 8-4 last year. For the 2nd straight year, they lose to Smith County to end their season last year in the 2nd round. I looked at their roster in the media guide. I think it's like 10 seniors.
It's a young team.
It's in a lot of freshmen, sophomores on there. They do have Wendell Billingsley.
Yes.
Stud. Who's got an offer from Air Force, which I thought was pretty darn cool. A 5-team league, I'll say this, even though it may not be what you typically see with Fairview, they'll be in the playoffs.
Yes.
They'll be in the playoffs for sure.
They got a young quarterback in Jax McCoy.
Who's an athlete.
He's an athlete. He's just he's just young. That's it. We need stats. We need snaps. We need experience. He'll get better as the year goes on, and he's a kid that can make things happen. So I think Coach Hughes kind of likes that, right? He's not running the wing team.
No, he will not be doing that. Tate, we're starting, as you mentioned, game day, Battle of Franklin this Friday. Franklin visits Centennial. We're excited about that. Now, look, for a lot of different reasons, I want to be quick on this. A review of the Pick'ems, which I think we've officially kept the score since I've been the AD. This is year 5. You've won every year, including last year. A review in last place, the fans, 62-20.
That surprises me.
It did. It did me too. 62-22. Dr. Qualls, 63-21. I was 65-19. You were 70-14. That thing was over with about 3 weeks left. It's a new year. It's a new day. Fans, what is not new is this. Every Friday,
participate.
Go to WCSCO Athletics. That's WCSCO Athletics to participate in our weekly pick'em. So week one, I got to get off to a good start. I'm going to make the first pick, Tate.
Okay.
Brentwood at Blackman.
Coach Kreisky is the head coach of Blackman now.
He is.
They know each other well.
They do. Coach Kreisky, we love you. Not as much as we used to. You're 0-1. Brentwood rolls in, takes care of business.
It's on TV too, Friday Night Lights. Is it Friday Night Rivals?
And everybody gets to watch it.
Everybody gets to watch it.
Who you picking?
I'm going with Brentwood. I love Coach Kreisky, but your first game in the Inferno is going to be, the Flames are going to be doused. The Bruins are going to come in and put out the fire. They get off the season 1-0. I think it's big for them. And they go on the road and beat Blackman.
Fairview has traditionally started the season in the Battle of 840. Not quite that opponent this year to start the year, Tate. They go to East Hickman.
Which the address, the town is what? Coach Wild and Coach Qualls talk about it a lot.
Bon Aqua, Centerville.
Bon Aqua. Going to Bon Aqua. This is Boat Race City. Coach Hughes starts the year off like Kid Rock on his 40-foot Donzie, man. This one's ugly.
The baby jackets with the blowout to start the season.
Who you got? That was a jet.
Fairview. My next pick, I hate to do this. I respect them for the scheduling. Again, the offense is different. I think they're going to maybe not look as great early on. I think they'll be ready for week 2, though, when they play Page. Independence at Oakland. I hate to do it, but sorry, Indy. Oakland.
Wow. The last AD would have never picked him.
No, but he would have lost that game, too, I'm afraid. I hope I lose. I don't think so.
I told Coach Stidham. By the way, I know you do too.
Love
Coach Stidham's been such a great addition. He's got a great. He's funny. He's got a great sense of humor. Once you know, he's kind of in the background kind of guy, right? But he's really funny. But so he got CPA off the schedule. He said, I just don't want to open up with them. I got to get them off the schedule. And I saw it. I said, hey, man, what? Oakland? Anyways. Yeah, I'm with you. I hate to say it, but the 3-time defending state champion wins this game.
So right now, so far, I'd be tied with you no matter what.
That's right.
You're the next pick. Nolensville versus Rockville.
I do not like this matchup for Nolensville this year. If it was any other year, this wouldn't bother me. Rockville's a 6A team. They've got a lot of guys coming back. They were pretty competitive last year, and then they just got decimated with injuries second half of the season. So if this game was later on in the year, I'd pick it differently, but I'm going Rockville. The Rockville Rockets.
I'm going Nolensville.
Of course you are. I love it. And here comes separation.
Here comes.
One way or the other.
Page, Giles County. Giles County's tough.
You're dang right.
At Giles County, it won't be enough. Page.
Get ready to see every formation under the sun. I don't know how they get all these in, but you're going to see it all. But Page is just too dang good. And I think these guys, I think this team has an attitude I know this team's got an attitude about them. I think this defense is going to be really special. The Page Patriots.
Tate, your pick. Ravenwood hosts Alcoa.
Oh, man, this is tough, but the 8-time defending state champion, they're like a Wilco, man. They're going to be well coached. They're not going to beat themselves, and they got some players. I think Coach Nix is one of the really good coaches out there. Coach Hester would tell you the same thing. So the Tornadoes of Alcoa.
Sorry, Miss Hester. I'm going to begrudgingly agree. Alcoa. Summit at Spring Hill. I think we're probably pretty consistent on this one.
This is a boat race.
Summit starts off 1-0, big win. Oh, Captain, my captain.
Coach will be, he'll be, what is that, the Duck? He'll be rolling down the Duck River. This one's going to get bloody.
Yeah, I agree. And then our final one. I want you to pick first. I set this up so you've been talking Franklin,
Yep.
but you've talked Centennial too.
I think it's been 3 years since the Admirals have won, correct?
That's right. It has been.
Yep.
Centennial, Franklin. It's at Centennial.
It's at Centennial.
First game for Coach Stewart. Your third place Admirals in
I know what you're doing.
6A.
I remember what I said. Centennial's not in the region.
True.
Are you done?
I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go where you think I am because I think Franklin, it's the first game of the season. Again, we've got some guys that have played a lot of games. They haven't beat them in 3 years. This is big. It's important. And I think the crowd is going to be lights out at Centennial. It's going to be packed. Game day is going to be there. Dr. Qualls is going to be there with his Bring the Juice t-shirts. There's a rumor that there's a twist coming this year. He is going to be, if 10 is all the way up, he's going to be on about level 15, 16. This is a new look. They're still getting to know each other. It's pretty much the entire staff is new. I'm going with the Admirals.
Oh.
Brewer Wilson's going to have a big game. It's going to come down to turnovers, but I think Franklin's going to win the turnover battle. I'm going the Admirals. So we got a little separation. Oh, I think you're picking Centennial.
I am picking Centennial, and I love this. So it could could be a 2-game swing. Listen, for all those out there that still try to claim that I'm a Franklin homer,
they don't watch the show if they do.
It's not, and I love Franklin. Obviously, spent 3 years there, but I think this is going to be tight too. I could see this going either way. I think home is going to matter in this particular game, not because the crowd size is any different. I just think being at home is the difference. If this game were at Franklin, I might pick it differently. Might not, but I might. I'm going Centennial.
I can't wait to see this is good. So it's, the fans and depending on what fans and.
I know who Dr. Qualls is going to be.
I can tell you all these. I don't know, man. He swore he would never pick against the visor. So I'm interested to see what his pick is.
We'll see.
But he could end up. I don't know. This tough. There's only 3 no-brainers on this.
Right.
So, I think Blackman Brentwood's a no-brainer, but they're going to have to show up.
Well,
if they beat them last year, 2 years ago, they would have beat them, but they turned the ball over 8 times. If they do that again, we got a problem. I don't think they will, but
Fairview Summit, no-brainers.
No-brainers, man. Jeez Louise.
Tate, great to be back. Appreciate you being here for year 16 of the show.
I need to go back and see how many this is for me, but I think it's 10. But I'm excited to be back. Thanks for letting me back. We'll be talking results next year. Friday Night Rivals is going to be Friday night, the Brentwood Blackman game. So if you can't go to that one, tape it. You can go back and watch it.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you at game day. Always good to be with you.
There's some new. You need to be there. There's some twists this year, right?
It's going to be fun. It's
going to be great.
It's going to be fun. Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.